Good morning. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, hello. Good morning. Good morning. I'm doing a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Also for those of us who find ourselves on this channel without any Piscean anything. You're probably an empath and you're probably needing messages from your soul. Okay. Ooh, that energy is thumping. That energy is just thumping. Um, I asked what this reading was going to be about, and I was told tugging at your heartstrings. Tugging at your heartstrings. Uh, oh, wah. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get started. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's do it. Obviously energy has shifted. I feel so ridiculously different. I don't know if it's because I had a goddess bath last night. I don't know. But energies are definitely different today. And I think what's happening is alignment is being reestablished. Alignment of what? We're going to find out. Okay. We're going to need time to find out. We're going to need some time to find out, is what it is. What it is, yo. What's up? I'm getting nervous. What is this about? I'm getting so nervous. Don't let people drain you. All right. Let's just pull a few cards from this. Let's see where this goes. Ooh, the goddess is upside down. The feminine is upside down. I'm wondering if this is representing you and how you feel very upside down in whatever it is that's happening for you in your life right now. Whatever the circumstance is, you feel I heard the word jilted. Okay, Pisceans, empaths. When people make you feel jilted, you got to believe them the first time. Okay? Don't let people play games with you. Now, this could be that you're playing games with yourself. Damn. Thought it was too early to call you out, huh? It's never too early in the world of Emmie. It's never too early to call you out. Oh my gosh, your guidance is upside down as well. Sometimes when we allow ourselves to just, to just see things for what they are, we don't have the opportunity to complicate things for ourselves. It's almost like we understand it right from the start. And then when we start thinking about it, that's when we don't understand. Right, exactly. Just ignore the games. Oh, the signs. Just ignore the signs. Why, thank you, Sunny. I slept with my hair wet. This is my texture. No products. When I'm being healthy, I actually look kind of healthy, huh? Okay. Something is being fulfilled right now. I don't know what that is, but something is definitely being fulfilled. There is some cycle that's closing out. Hopefully, it's the cycle of playing games with ourselves. We do that. Okay. It's not necessarily that I'm saying we are manipulative. I'm saying we like to manipulate ourselves to be better accessible to people who want to manipulate us. That's such a backwards logic that we sometimes have. And, a lot of it has to do with not making it harder for others, not making problems. A lot of it has to do with like, I don't want people to get annoyed. I make things harder by telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? We've been programmed, many of us have been programmed to believe all of this stuff. And it's just this thing of like, why do you believe it? Have you actually done something of your own volition? Or have you just been told this for so long that you're at a point where it's like, well, I guess it's just, that's kind of just, well, people think, but I mean, are you following the logic all the way through? Are you allowing yourself to really follow all the way through what it is you're thinking about yourself? Because I think many of us don't. Many of us just hear the recordings start over again. And then we bring to fruition the very thing that we've recorded. This thought has been coming to my mind lately. I believe, no, I didn't write it down. Darnia. So I was thinking the other day about wish fulfillment, right? Sometimes we wish for something, and usually the things that we wish for are, we want happiness, we want rainbows, we want unicorns, crystals, the stereotypical stuff, right? Other times we don't recognize that we are wishing for a way to punish ourselves. It then becomes something that started as an attempt at wish fulfillment and goes into this other place of being where it's now a self-fulfilling prophecy. Have you heard of the concept of self-fulfilling prophecy? That sometimes we become so fixated on something we don't like. Self-fulfilling prophecy is not necessarily negative, but sometimes we fixate on the very thing we don't like, only to have that thing that we're trying to avoid be the thing that we experience. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Is it because we're psychic? Is it because, oh no, we called this before. Okay, we already knew. It's because we knew. Or are you bringing this into manifestation? Are you manifesting this? For example, for a period, I totally felt like, if I give people enough time, they start tugging on my heartstrings. If I give them enough time and enough of that string, they go hang themselves. They go hang themselves with that because everyone's going to betray me. At some point, everyone will betray me. Everyone will leave me. It's just a matter of time before everyone leaves. Eventually, everyone leaves. And, when I sat and thought about it, a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was creating this. I was bonding with people. And then after they bond with me past a certain point, I sit back and I wait and I watch 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 and I watch, looking for them to do what I think they're going to do. I mean, if you've never been loved, fixated on, fawned over by a Piscean, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. There is something about the experience of a Piscean specifically fawning over you. There is something about that. You know what? I'm not even going to try and deny it. There is something about that makes people like, oh my God, this is forever. They adore me. They would lick the ground that I've stepped on, which, I mean, that's kind of how we make you guys feel. And it's just because we exist at such a depth. That's not me trying to justify. That's me trying to explain to you. That's just a portion of the depth at which a Piscean can love. Now, once our insecurities are triggered, then it becomes this thing of, let me just back up real quick. And that feels like an abandonment to the person. When you are like hot and heavy bonding with someone, it doesn't even have to be romantic. when you are hot and heavy bonding with someone and then you kind of like step back, it's almost like this huge gaping void has been left, even if you're still accessible. And for most people, they freak out. Most people will freak out. And so we are basically creating the perfect recipe for someone to walk away. And then we're like, oh, see, I told you, everyone walks away. Honey, who? Honey, who? Who is you talking to, honey? I don't know. I don't know. It's a thing we do. It's a thing we do. Spring. So I think things are going to be coming to fulfillment by spring. I think things are going to come to a head by spring. I feel like for most of us, this is an internal process that's happening. I feel like for most of us, it is someone triggering you into these processes, probably me triggering. Am I triggering you or are you triggering yourself? Accountability, people. Accountability. The way we even phrase that experience and that concept will show the world exactly how accountable we hold ourselves for the situations that exist within us. When the situation exists within you, no one else in this world is obligated to know about what you're going through. They're not obligated to take the time to understand your wounds. Just because you're sensitive doesn't mean other people need to be when they're with you. They don't need to be sensitive to your needs, to your process. And maybe that's part of the issue. Are some of you thinking that the world has to cater to you? But if you frame it, no accusations here, these are questions. If you frame it in such a way where it's like, but you don't get it, it's because I'm, sensitive. Like, you don't understand what I've been through. Why do I need to understand? Isn't that a low-key expectation of other people catering to you and your sensitivities? Like, if people can't call you sensitive, if people can't speak in general terms, not addressing anyone specifically, and you're not liking what's being said, I mean, is that more to do with you and your process, or is that coming outside of you? Does someone else need to be held responsible for how you're feeling? And I think that's a huge portion of what's wrong with the world right now. It's like so many people feel like other people have to be held accountable for how they feel. And let me tell you, no one's responsible for how I feel. Nobody. Only me. When I get disappointed, that's on me. When I feel unheard and I don't speak up, that's on me. When I'm feeling rejected or left out and I've been telling people, oh, no, thank you. Oh, no, thank you. I'm not responding to messages. I'm not this. I'm not that. Oh, but I feel rejected. And so people need to try harder. I've created walls and people need to climb up the walls so I know they care. That's on me. That is on me. That is a creation I created. No one is responsible to do that. No one is responsible to dismantle my walls with their love. No one, not a single person, not a one. And it's almost this sense, I don't know how common it is, but I've been seeing it quite a bit lately where it's this thing of like, people just don't understand me. Like, I'm just, people are so mean. But girl, guy, you annoying AF. You don't take into consideration how disruptive you are. But people need to consider you. There's people that are like that. Why they enter into a space and they're disruptive. And then when people don't pay them attention, it's like, oh my God, people are just so mean to me. No, you're disruptive. People don't need to consider you, especially when you are inconsiderate of the general whole. That's a major problem. That is not specific to just Pisceans or empaths. That is a major problem in this world at this point. Lack of accountability, elevation, and a sense of entitlement. You need to heal yourself. No one is responsible for healing you, especially not the people who were not present and did not inflict the original wounds. It is not your guys' job to heal the trauma I experienced as a child. It is not your guys' job to heal wounds that were created when people maliciously, malignantly attacked me years ago. Were you there at 2018, 2017? Were you there? Were you part of those groups? Were you just sucked into the group, or were you an active member of the attempts to harm me? Because unless you were an active member of the attempts to harm me, I really can't be blaming you for anything. I can't be expecting you to fix things. Secondly, as much as I share online, that's really not even the surface level of the things that I go through in life. So if I'm not willing to share that, how the heck are you supposed to fix that? Third, are you feeling like it's your job to fix me because then it keeps you too busy from fixing yourself? Are you trying to make me into a person project? These are things we have to ask ourselves. We have to ask ourselves these things because they're important questions. They're important things to know about ourselves. We can't be tugging on our own heartstrings, especially when no one is asking us for extra string. There's times I'm getting this visual of like tugging on the heartstrings. It's like this retractable cord from a vacuum, right? Retractable cord. And we keep pulling and pulling and pulling that cord, that string, so we can bind someone's hands and drag them along with us. That needs to stop. That needs to stop. This concept of you have to remain with me, romantic relationship, friendship, whatever it is, you have to remain with me because I can heal you. I've entered into this place within my journey where it's like, walk with me. Let's talk about how you'll heal yourself. Walk with me. Don't follow behind me. Walk right beside me. Shoulder to shoulder as equals. Let me share with you what I experienced. Maybe you're experiencing it now. Maybe it'll help you, that perspective, that 2020 hindsight for my experience. It might help you as you're living through your own. It's very hard to have clear vision as you're living through the circumstance. Emotions are powerful, but they also are very disturbing. They disturb that process that's happening. They're disruptive. That's okay. That's okay. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But it does create so many more waves and distortions in the way you see. And that's it. Your emotions are not necessarily invalid. They're not necessarily too much or inappropriate, but they do cause quite a bit of distortion. So I don't know if it's a Piscean thing, Capricorn thing, empath thing, or just an Emmie thing, right? I was talking with someone yesterday, and they were talking to me about how when they watch live streams, sometimes they can see my brain locating all the points of interest and connecting all the dots really, really fast, like boom, 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 profound thing. And literally after had a conversation with my doctor, and she pointed out the same thing, but in a pathology sense. It works both ways. I'm an overthinker. I'm not just an overthinker. It's expansive and accelerated. She said to me, see, the problem is that you're just highly intelligent and highly cognitive. You're highly aware. And so you take the situation that you're living through and you begin to pick it apart. You analyze it. And at first, it's something you're doing as part of your survival. It's something you're doing as part of understanding the situation you're in. But then you take it too far because it's like, well, then this, and this can happen. And if that happens, then all of those, and then over there, all those, and then over there, and all those, and then the next level, and then it's all those, and then I'm dead. She's like, you're not going to die like that. I was like, I can't even slow down when I'm talking to you right now. And she goes, I see that. I see that. I was talking to her super intense, super fast. All started with one question. How have you been? She goes, I know. She goes, let's start with one thing. Well, I'm just super frustrated with myself and with my life. Like, okay, so why are you frustrated? Well, because I've had to do this thing every single day, and every single day that I do this thing, it re-triggers this other thing, which then re-triggers this other thing, which then it's like this huge gaping void that exists of things that are triggering me, ripping it open and open and open. And I get so frustrated because I want to sew it shut, but I know that wound has to be left open so that it can, like all other stuff can come out. But then it's like, it's inconvenient because, I'm really busy. And she's like, breathe. And I'm like, oh, I wasn't breathing. Huh? She goes, no, you took one inhale and then all of that came out. I'm like, see, that's why the wound has to stay open so that everything can kind of just be released. But then, like, it's inconvenient because all of these things that I have planned in life and all of these things and all these projects and all these other things that I have to do. And then I'm live every day and I have sessions every day. And then I teach classes on the weekend. I'm live on the weekend. She's like, so why do you do all this? I don't know. That's an inconsiderate question. What do you mean? Why do I do all of this? Why do you let yourself stay busy? It's a trauma response. What else? And she goes, and I was like, it's a trauma response. It's a trauma response to be so busy that you don't have to deal with what's actually needing to be dealt with in that moment. That's a trauma response. She goes, so are you dealing with your trauma or are you adding more trauma to negate the trauma that you're needing to deal with? Because now there's a new trauma. And then you wonder why there's a void. Because everything that rises to the surface that needs to be addressed, I excavate it immediately. Like, no, we don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. So instead of focusing on the void, I'm wondering if we need to start focusing on all this mess that's around us because we've excavated everything out of the void. I'm wondering if that tugging on your heartstrings has more to do with your process of suturing your gaping wound shut. You can't suture a wound shut until it's been cleansed. That's a recipe for infection. And some wounds should not be sutured shut. It needs to be given time for that infection to be addressed. Some wounds need to stay open for a period. Some wounds benefit from being aired out. And society would tell you that you can't do that. It's messy. You can't do that. What's messy? My process of healing? What's messy? Because I'm not existing within the box and having everything contained? If your box is full of caca and you're removing all the caca from the box, obviously it's going to be messy, right? But you have to first cleanse the box, and then you can turn your focus on cleansing the environment. You are your box. When people say, like, think outside the box, think outside your logic. Allow your intuition to kick in. Allow yourself to finally see things in a different way. Sometimes you have to speak to yourself a little bit slower. I actually can talk really, really fast, like really, really fast. And a lot of the most potent things that people take away from live streams and the time that we spend together, these are often things that I consciously am choosing to speak much slower. And is it just a public speaking tactic? No. It causes you to focus so you don't miss any part. When it's profound, every component must be savored, properly savored, to fully understand the dish that's being served. When you go to an expensive restaurant, you're not there to gobble everything down. See, in American culture, the restaurant sucks if it doesn't feed you ridiculous amounts and you just gorge yourself like really, really fast. We don't like that. We think we've been ripped off if it's not like food piled on the plate. But just like with my life, I don't need the food piled on my plate. I want to savor every component. I want to just get a little bit of this and then cleanse my palate, get a little bit of that. This is stuff I've never had before. I want to know what each component tastes like in its purest state before it gets commingled with other flavors, other textures. And after I've sampled everything, just a little bit and a little bit, now I know what everything tastes like. And then I allow things to marry together. Have a little bit of that with a little bit of this. Ooh, that's savory. How about a little bit of this with a little bit of that? Ooh, that is a robust flavor. The way, ooh, the herbs and everything. That's amazing. And the textures. I mean, do we assess our life in that way? Where we allow situations and connections to remain in its most purest state, where it's not being commingled with past experiences. Next time you go to an expensive restaurant, do this. While you're waiting to be seated, put an Altoid in your mouth. Put like 4 of them in your mouth and kind of just suck on it until your food arrives. Pick where you want to eat, but put 4 Altoids in your mouth. And let's see what your food tastes like when it arrives. Have you ever brushed your teeth and drink orange juice? Yeah. Orange juice tastes good, minty. It actually tastes pretty nasty. Yeah. Are we allowing the situation we're experiencing right now with someone who is in our life right now? Are we allowing it to be tainted by something that happened in the past? Are we commingling that and not getting the true flavor of what is before us right now? Because most of us do. Most of us are like, well, so and so did this to me in the past, so I don't know. They're not so and so. But if you keep pushing that, some people will definitely rise to that request for them to act like so and so. When we ask people to be toxic, like someone we knew that was toxic, and then we continue and continue and continue, there's a good chance they're going to become toxic. There's a really good chance they're going to become toxic AF. I found that people and children will live up to whatever your expectation is. Whether you say it out loud or not, they will live up to that. People often ask me, how are your kids so well behaved? They're regular kids. What are you talking about? Why do your kids, like, you know, how, how, how old are they when you start teaching them this stuff? Teaching them what? I have specific expectations. Well, what are your expectations? Be a good person. Don't be disrespectful. Speak your truth in a respectful way. You can speak with passion, but never direct the toxicity at me. You don't have to be anything outside of the greatness that I know is within you. I will never ask you to be someone you're not, but I do expect you to be who you actually are. And if who you are and who you're becoming is affected by toxicity or wounds, I expect you to let me know when you need my assistance. When you need my assistance to understand, when you need my assistance to feel loved, you need to let me know. And that's just that. People will live up to what you expect from them. You want to say all men are dogs? You better be a freaking kennel master. All men are not dogs. All women are not bitches. We need to let go of that. We need to begin judging people by the character they show us. And no, the wounds you have and how fractured you are does not give you a pass to bleed all over my sacred space. It's called a boundary. Oh my God, I mean, that's so mean. I don't care what people think it is. I'm not a triage. I'm not an ER. I used to try to be. I used to try to be a spiritual ER. What's the point? What's the point? Because really, these people who I was trying to be an ER for, a spiritual ER, what they needed was a spiritual psychologist. That's not my forte. That's not my forte. No. Nope. I'm still working on my own. I'm working on my own psychology and fortifying myself. And I can't allow myself to be destabilized in my attempt to help someone else. I was talking to my doctor last night and she's like, so I want to know some of your thought processes. We need to begin identifying what's exactly going on with the psychology that keeps you in a perpetual loop of overthinking. And I'm highly cognitive. She loves that. She loves the fact that I'm highly aware of what the F I'm doing to F myself up. But I can't help it. I can't help it. I haven't grown beyond it. Eventually I will. I'm not worried and I'm not trying to rush myself. Eventually I will. Hold on, guys. I feel like my boobs are sticking out the side. I want to zip this up. Hold on. My boobs are too big. Hold on. Oh my God. Can you just zip up? What is wrong with you, zipper? You're stretchy. You'll stretch over it. There we go. Oh my goodness. That was definitely an experience. Anyways, she's like, tell me some of the thought processes. And I was telling her some of the things that have been preoccupying me and that I've begun trying really hard to correct this process as soon as I'm aware it's starting. And the process is there are now new people involved, new people who might experience what I experienced. And with that, part of me feels like, I'm partially responsible because they took the place that I was occupying, like this space of existence. And because I didn't, like, fully address that, I feel like that's on me. Like, I need to make sure they don't experience whatever. And at this time, it's like, I'm very aware that if I'm not stable myself, if I'm still experiencing all of these emotional fluctuations, there's no way I have the type of stability that's necessary to begin trying to help other people. And she goes, that's very good that you realize that. So what are you going to do? I don't know. I can identify. That doesn't mean I know what to do. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't need sedation. I don't need to remain calm and cool. See, that's the thing. That's a fallacy. When your goal is to always be calm and cool, it's like your goal is to sedate yourself from the very experience you came into this life to experience. If it was part of my soul's requirement to be calm and cool, I'd be calm and fucking cool, period. Period. Don't let people who don't know you try and tell you what you should do. Try and offer you solutions for problems they know nothing about. Is it even a problem, or is it just a process? Is it a problem, or is it a process? When you're going through this process that is ridiculously profound, how are people going to know exactly what you need? All they see is this external play of so many different factors. And I'm going to tell you, like, you need to make it a goal to be calm and cool. I'm volatile and hot. Just how I'm supposed to be. Volatile and hot as fuck. Have no apologies about that either. I have no apologies about that whatsoever. And I've lived, I'd say, over 30 years trying to be calm and cool to appease the basic ass people. Yeah, I'm going into the fucking offensive ass. Yep. I'm intentionally being offensive. I've lived over 30 years trying so hard to be calm and cool. And that's why I'm so fiery at this point. I'm sick and tired of people trying so hard to convince other people that just because something worked for them, that other people should follow them too. I'm not a follower. I'll blaze through the whole fucking forest. I don't need to follow the path. I am my own path. I am my own path. You know why I'm so drawn to selenite? Because there's nothing calm and cool about it. It's an amplifier. It's an amplifier. You know what makes me so powerful in my life at this point? Because I'm no longer taking other people's logic and adopting it as my own. It's not applicable to me in my life, because if it was, I wouldn't have questioned it. I wouldn't be averse to it. I'd be like, oh my God, that's so true. Yes. Oh my God, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, no, totally. Totally. Sir, if I were you, I'd stop commenting, because you've already offended me with your advice. Your advice is unsolicited. When you give advice that's unsolicited, you're being a dick. That wasn't calm and cool, huh? Yeah, because I'm not calm or cool. I'm not calm or cool. And even if you are a woman, you have like small dick energy right now. That's how it reads. Small dick energy. There is no chill here. None. I have no chill. I've never had chill. I've had silence. And unfortunately, I'm not willing to shut myself up anymore. I have no chill. None. None. I have no chill. So that's a form of tugging on your heartstrings, where someone will comment like, oh, you should try this, this, and this. Why? Read beyond the words they wrote. You should wear jasper. Since I wore it, I've been calm and cool. Why would you need to tell me about jasper and being calm and cool after you've worn it? Because you think I'm the opposite, and you're trying to create a pathology out of something so ridiculously sacred and beautiful. The feminine rage is a beautiful thing. When it can be properly processed and harnessed for your growth and your rise, feminine rage is a beautiful thing. I'm not talking about toxic femininity. I'm not talking about toxic feminism. I'm not talking about competing and comparing with men. You will never be my equal. I will never be yours. There's beauty in that difference. Feminine rage is a powerful thing if you can harness it for your growth and your rise. I will no longer be sorry for any part of my life from this part on. From this moment on, I will not be sorry for being an angry person. That anger is the fuel for my rise. I'm learning when people like that cross paths with me and I allow myself to be responsive to the trigger, that's me allowing it. Notice accountability, first and foremost. Accountability. Now, you triggered me. I allowed myself to be triggered because something needs to be discussed. See that? That's accountability. That's grown people behavior. Grown people behavior. Grown people recognize I allowed that. I could have easily just banned it, deleted it, not address it at all. No, I chose to allow that. See how beautiful that power is and the recognition of that power? I allowed that for a very intentional reason. We're going to use you as an example. People don't need to cater to people like that. They are condemning me, but in a gentle way. It's more palatable. Okay, Mary Poppins. We got a Mary Poppins in the audience where I'm going to condemn you, okay? I think your behavior is not acceptable. Let me give you a spoonful of sugar to make the medicine go down. No, Mary Poppins. No, Mary Poppins. I'm not willing to allow your words to medicate me. This is the part where I just exist as a wild woman I am. It's okay to be a wild woman. It's literally okay to be a wild woman. I don't have to play small. I don't have to be demure. I don't have to be the stereotype of that fetishized Asian woman. I promise you there's nothing demure about me unless my husband asks me to be. And then I'll consider it. Yeah. Do I have to be apologetic? Do I have to hide this about myself? Absolutely not. Are you kidding me? Bitch, please. Try me, ho. Ho tried me. Ho lost. Right. No Mary Poppins. We got a Mary Poppins in the audience. Spoonful of sugar? Yeah. Sugar is said to be more addictive than crack. Sometimes when people say sweet things, but they're really being derogatory towards you, like really understand people's intentions. And I promise you, if Mary Poppins over there was not hidden by one of the mods, they'd be like, oh no, that's not what I meant. That's exactly what you meant. I read what you wrote straight from your cruddy ass fingertips. That's exactly what you meant. You're just embarrassed because I actually understood what you meant. See, when you have a reaction and then you allow it to blossom into an actual logical, intellectual response, Don't let them backpedal. Don't let them backpedal. No, you said what you said. You said what you said. I understood exactly what you meant. Oh no, you're reading too much into it. No, I'm not. I read it at point blank value, face value, point blank. You said I needed to wear jasper because when you wore jasper, you then became calm and cool. Why would you need to offer advice like that? Because you think I'm the opposite. No, it's called passion. It's called elevation and intellectual ability paired with a ripened passion. Sir, Mary Poppins, sir, you should simply be grateful that someone as profound as me is allowing myself to be witnessed in my most authentic state. The world needs more of me, not a more watered down version. I'm not sorry either. I'm not sorry I exist. I'm not sorry I exist in the way that I do. I'm not sorry. Y'all don't need to be sorry for being who you are. You do not need to be sorry for being who you are. You need to take accountability for how you choose to be. People want to be upset with me for saying that. I take that. I hold myself accountable. At no point will I be like, I don't know why people are leaving. I'm just speaking my truth. Nah, I'm be like, oh, they're going to handle it. It's a little too much. I let off a little too much. It's okay. It's okay. I got a lot more. That was just a little bit. It's just a little bit. Being authentically you does not mean you water yourself down for people who can't handle the authentic you. It does insinuate. And, it's not my fault. They misunderstood. This is not manufactured authenticity. I'm not a manufactured authentic person. That's not true authenticity. Where I'm going to share things with you just to like gain that clout of like, oh my gosh, she's so real. No, I'm really real. I'm hood and ratchet too. The softness of my texture might have misled you. Yeah, no, I'm ratchet as fuck. I know, right? I know a lot of people misunderstand that. Sometimes I think like I was born into the family that I was born into, and given the aesthetics that I was given, to fuck with people. I'm just saying, like, Mikey, why would you guys choose such a small person for this? Mikey, people think like they can fuck with me. And then he just giggles. And I'm like, you did that on purpose, didn't you? So, you did that on purpose. These poor people. Now I got to rip them a new asshole to kind of like, evacuate some of their bullshit. They're so backed up. Like, you treat me like I'm some sort of like spiritual ER. Like, hello, ma'am, please rip me a new asshole because I'm backed up with my own bullshit. Okay, say something. Say something. Just, I'll take this like payment for your new asshole surgery. Not enough Jasper in this world. Not enough Jasper in this world. Baby boo. Baby boo. I'm like the Moldavite. Michael's laughing. I'm like the Moldavite. Biatch. Okay, anyways. Alchemist. Be the alchemist of your life. Turn it into whatever you want to turn it into. You know, I'm going to start doing disclaimers in my videos. It's just going to be this ticker, running ticker at the bottom. Disclaimer, Emmie took a goddess bath last night and she's really feeling herself today. Please don't test her unless you need a new asshole. Disclaimer, Emmie took a goddess bath last night and she really feeling herself today. Please don't test her unless you want a new asshole. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She ratchet. She hood. She's ratchet. She's hood. Yeah. I have zero desire to be that stereotypical fetishized Asian woman. I'm not going to infantilize myself. I'm not going to be passive. I'm not going to speak in small tones. People would be fucked in their heads. I swear to God. Cycles. These are just cycles. Okay. These are just cycles that you're in. Don't get so caught up in one cycle. Allow yourself to go through the whole gambit of what you need to experience. Okay. Fertility. It's about creation. Creation. Okay. Creation. Allowing yourself to create whatever needs to be created. For some of us, we can so easily create all sorts of different struggles for ourselves. But we can't create positivity. We can't create compassionate growth. I mean, we can do both. You can chew on frankincense, Patty. Isn't frankincense hard, like a resin? See, and I hope you guys understand. I don't have a problem with people who actually have some sort of, rapport with me, offering what they do. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Patty chews on frankincense. I don't know that I could, though. But you mean like suck on it? Or is it like, how do you do that? I love the smell of frankincense. I love the smell of frankincense. But I don't know how I would do that. It's a resin, right? Unless I'm confusing it with something else. They chew it? You mean like take a few drops of the like the essential oil and put in chewing gum? I'm just trying not to break my teeth. I got weak teeth. People are like, I saw this self-defense video for women. They're like, bite them. I'm like, it's not going to leave a mark. I got small ass jaws. I can't even open my mouth big. I can barely do like a 3-patty burger. Who am I kidding? I can't do a 3-patty burger. I eat 3 patties in a burger, but I got to cut it up little pieces because I don't have, my alien is showing. I have a really weak jaw. So I can't chew that. The body heat softens it. Patty, if I choke on that, I'm, I might choke on that. I choke on things a lot. I choke just breathing. I also trip just standing still. I'm not joking. Yeah. Like I'll be standing and then I trip. I'm not stepping forward. I'm not even moving my feet. I just literally trip. I don't know what it is. And then when my husband's there, he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I was standing. How are you tripping while I don't know. I don't play these games. I don't know. I almost fell. He almost became a widow. Well, see, that's what I'm worried about. I have like dental restorations. I don't have enough dentin. I don't have enough enamel or dentin. It's not hard. And I'm worried it's going to pull out my fucking fillings Or my crowns. I still have to replace my old fillings to crowns. I don't want to rip those out. I don't want to rip that out. Like, because I can't just get dental work. Like, they have to put me to sleep. Oh, hell no. I'm good. Ancestors, remembrance. Allowing yourself to remember. Okay. Just remember where you came from within this life, and remember to whatever degree where you came from previous lives as well. Well, maybe when I eventually have dentures. But luckily, I have really long roots. So I don't know if I will ever have dentures. This is some really fucked up shit. I had unrecognized gut issues my entire life. And so none of my stuff formed right. Basically malnourished, no matter how much I ate. That sucks. It sucks. It sucks. That's okay. But it helped me to understand, though, the importance of my children who have gut issues they inherited from me, like the importance of supporting their gut health, because I knew exactly where it was going to go. And their teeth are hard. So as long as their teeth are hard, we'll just have to do whatever we need to do for our teeth. So, card number 44, Visions of Life Beyond Death. Traversing through the valley of the shadow of death. The thing about that, it's a valley, so it shouldn't be too daunting. It shouldn't be too daunting. There's a lot of fear involved. There's a lot of fear of the loss of who you are, that ego death, spiritual death. But allow yourself to see past that, to see that every ending is nothing but a precursor to a new beginning. So bringing it into form upside down in reverse, that's telling me that you haven't been bringing into form the very things that you need to manifest for yourself. We need to allow ourselves to begin this process of recognizing how powerful we actually are. You are powerful. You are grace personified. What does it mean to be grace personified? It's not just you move gracefully. It's not that you be an amazing dancer. It's that you can hold that level of compassion for self and for others as you go through the process of learning, remembering, sifting, and sorting. It's okay if you don't know all the answers. It's okay if you're in a process that causes you to feel the need to question yourself, your validity, your worth. Don't let anyone rob you of that. Just don't. Don't let people convince you that there's an issue with you. Why does someone want to convince you there's an issue with you? I found the people who go out of their way to try and convince me that I have issues, not just sharing information like Patty is, but people who are low-key insinuating things, they're usually the ones with the most issues. And the way they avoid the recognition of their issues is by giving advice. Because it makes them feel more evolved. Are they, though? Do you need to know if they're more evolved or not? Or do you need to kind of just, you know what? I'm really not feeling you. I'm really not feeling you. I'm just like, no, Mary Poppins, we're not home. No, Mary Poppins, I got a song for you. Excuse me, let me call you a valet. Why don't you get the fuck out? Why don't you get the fuck out? Mariah Carey. Go listen to it a few times. She sings it much better than me. So go listen to that song a few times and you'll know what I'm singing to you. I can't be bothered to put the effort into it. I just can't. I just can't. Okay. You haven't been following your own rhythm. See this right here. This right here. You've been letting too many people get in the way of what your rhythm is. You've been letting people who do not know how to dance tell you you need to choreograph your dance. I don't think so. You can't even move. Your hips have been lying. Did you get that shit fused? Because no. That's like when people who are in the worst shape ever, who don't know anything, I came across this profile yesterday. Fucking, I was vibing so hard. I gotta. I was like, and for you, she got me stand status. Hold up, this woman. I fucking love her.
Back to this. You don't need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight because there's
Yeah, you do need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. It's the laws of thermodynamics. Losing weight on keto, calorie deficit. You cut a whole fucking macronutrient out of your diet. Losing weight on intermittent fasting, calorie deficit. You cut out fucking breakfast. Losing weight on Whole30, calorie deficit. Losing weight doing anything is because you're in a calorie fucking deficit. Let me add a few things to this. Carbs are not the enemy. And number 2, scale weight loss and fat loss are I said it, 2 different fucking things. Well, you know what? Most people can lose weight on the scale. Go pee, take a dump. Starve yourself with 1,200 calorie diets. Don't focus on any protein. Do a ton of cardio. And meanwhile, you're losing a ton of water, muscle mass, and bone density. Sounds fucking fun, doesn't it? Have an amazing fucking day.
Right, boo. That's right, boo. Having that level of passionate energy also creates a calorie deficit. Keep that same energy. Yeah. People who talk about things, they don't even understand. Like, what? Because you read it somewhere? You could lose weight without a calorie deficit. Are you kidding me? Calories are calories are calories. Toxicity. Right. She should try chewing on Jasper. You don't need a calorie deficit to lose weight. Yes, you absolutely do. And then there was someone else in the comments who was like, well, I've had a calorie deficit and I didn't lose weight. Okay, first off, you fucked up your macros. You might have created a calorie deficit, but the way in which you did it triggered a survival instinct. Your body thinks there's a famine. And so now everything you eat is being stored as fat. And your metabolic rate has been dropped. So now it's no longer a caloric deficit. You fucked your metabolism. And it doesn't work for everyone. Calorie deficit is a calorie deficit is a calorie deficit. If you do not consume enough calories to maintain your weight as it is right now, you will drop the weight. And if all you want to do is drop the weight and you're going to do a whole bunch of cardio, I don't do any cardio. Why? Because if you take your heart rate past a certain... Michael's like... Michael is... If you take your heart rate too high, you're now eating muscle mass. And people, they convince women like, oh, if you have muscle, you're going to look masculine. Please. If you lift weights, you'll grow more muscle. Muscle takes much more calorie to sustain than fat. And if you enter into ketosis, if you're going to do the ketogenic diet, if you enter into a certain level of ketosis, it can be a prolonged period. You could exist in that. And with that, your body is not having all of these spikes. You're going to lose a lot of fat, and you're going to probably maintain that muscle if you're using it. If you have the proper macros, if you know what you're doing, even to some basic degree, you'll be able to change your shape really fast. But if all you're interested in is the hype of this and that, well, someone said this, and like I think they knew what they were doing. I've had people that I've known who sounded like they knew spirituality. They sounded like they were badass. And by virtue of their association with me, people thought they were badass. What people didn't know was when that person would go live and someone's attacking them in the audience, guess who the fuck they're texting behind the scenes to come into the live stream to protect them? You can't fake your way through your life. You cannot fake your way through your life. You can't fake your way through your health, physical and emotional. You can't fake your way through developing the type of intellect that is necessary for you to thrive. If you want to continue to use the same outdated formulations and regurgitation of facts that it's science-based, the only thing consistent about science is if you give it enough years, eventually it's debunked by new science. You didn't know that? That's not true. What about the theory of like relativity and gravity? And it's a theory. Einstein never proved gravity. Yet here we are existing as though it's a fact. Gravity keeps us on this earth. Really? Prove gravity. Show me the studies. Well, the weight, when you weigh yourself, that's equivalent to the amount of gravitational pull being exerted on your body due to the mass that your body has. Yeah? According to whom? Did they actually prove it, or was it a theory? Well, Emmie, they've shown that, like, if you go to Mars, you'd weigh different because Mars has a different gravitational pull. Yeah? No one's landed on Mars. Is there a human being that landed on Mars? I mean, there's been a lot of information that's been leaked that no one's actually exited the outer stratosphere. The firmament's never been breached. According to some of the things that I've come across, these are astronauts saying this. Yeah, sorry. We take other people's words as though they're somehow more valid than your own questions, your own theories. Why? Why? Because someone told you that theirs is more valid than yours? And what if I'm telling you that your opinion, your perceptions about you and your life are more valid for you than anyone else's opinions? I'm telling you. I sound good when I talk. Why can't you believe that? You can believe someone who is regurgitating the same archaic things. At one point, the entirety of the educated population within humanity believed the world was flat. Yeah. Am I saying the world is flat? I'm saying that's none of my business. I'm not interested in any of that debate. But you give science enough time, modern science will debunk it, will negate it. Through the 80s and the 90s, we've been told over and over and over, sunscreen, you need sunscreen, you need sunscreen. You're going to develop skin cancer if you're exposed to the sun. You need sunscreen. Let me show you. This is not someone's post. This is an ad because this is an ad. Let me just find it. Excuse me, let me call you a valet. Sunscreen linked to cancer, lymphoma, leukemia, cash compensation for eligible cancer victims, free eligibility check. It's a law firm's ad. It's an ad for a law firm. They've taken on the class action lawsuit. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. FDA approved Monsanto's glyphosate because the science said that human beings don't have the Shikama pathways that are devastated in insects, and that's how they die, right? So it's completely safe for human beings to ingest glyphosate. You can't just wash this off. Traditionally grown plants, traditionally grown produce, soaked in glyphosate. You don't know what is, how is this even relevant? All of us live our lives listening to someone else, thinking we're listening to the truth. How do we know? Because it sounds good? How do we know? Like, I'm not concerned that my nephew may have stolen a second pair of earbuds from me. He's only 10 years old, living with my elderly mother, and I can't stay here forever. That's a perfect time to correct him before the world corrects his behaviors. Can't ignore behaviors like that. Children need to learn consequences while still children, or they'll grow up to be the biggest assholes, users, and maligners of the world. The adults in the child's life are tasked with helping them to learn this, either through gentle guidance or a full-on reaction. When my kids get frustrated and judged because my husband get upset with certain behaviors or whatever, they know what they're going to hear from me. Hey, listen, it's my job as your parent to help you to understand every decision you make, every action, every attitude will have a response or reaction from someone else in this world. It's better you learn in our family where we can come together after the event and remind you you are still loved, than to let you think this behavior is okay and have the world shit on you and tear you down. Because I promise you, the world is not as patient and as accepting of you as your mother and your father. We love you, but knock that shit off. And that's that. It's our job. And people can say, well, I'm not their parent. Then that child should not be around you if you're going to allow, that type of behavior. If you know your reaction would border on abuse, that's powerful. That's powerful to know that. It's powerful to be able to say, I'm needing that guidance. It's powerful. You two are learning together things that you need to learn. communication that's filled with compassion and truth, not coddling, but enough compassion that it doesn't become abuse. What's the difference between abuse and parenting? Discipline. When your emotions factor into it and your behaviors are based in your emotions that you believe were caused by a child, that's abuse. When you can kind of quiet down the emotion and be able to have a response where, and my kids know, like when they've taken it too far, and that's very rare, I will flat out be like, you taking shit a little too far. Your mom is just a human being. You better watch yourself at this point, because you don't want me to lose my temper too. I'm just a human being. And I'm now struggling really hard to remember, you are my child, I am your parent. And what I'm trying to say is, I'm about to react to you like a stranger. Give me a minute. You go think about your own stuff. I'm going to think about myself and controlling myself. I don't want to react at you like you're a stranger. I want to always be in control enough to remember, you are my kid. I can't be doing that to you. Hey, you know what? I used to never cuss in front of my children, ever, 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 ever. And then what happened? Hearing people outside of our family saying bad words like stupid, shut up. It was, oh my God, Mom, you should hear that. And, you know, my cousin spoke to me. I was like, listen, you're like crippling your kid. The world is not going to not cuss just because your kids are not comfortable with it. Like, it's better to desensitize them and know, like, there's an appropriate and there's a not appropriate, there's age appropriate, you know? I just got to finally be authentically me, knowing that even in my authenticity, I'm still a good mom, that I've questioned for enough years if I'm a good mom or not, that every decision has been like, is this a good mom thing? Or, and I still question. And that's how I know I'm actually a good mom. I'm still learning and growing as my kids get older. I become a different type of mom, and I become a different type of woman, and a different type of mom, and a different type of woman. And that's the thing that we have to allow ourselves to hold enough compassionate grace for. You're in a learning process. You're totally in a learning process. We don't even call them big kid words. My youngest is like, you're a bad word sayer. I'm sorry. He doesn't like violent movies either. So, like, you know, there's times where I get frustrated and I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm getting so frustrated. I don't want to speak in a way that like upsets you. I'm just going to need a moment. And usually when I say something like that, they know, like, oh, issue's not really me. She's having her own issue right now. Let me just give her a hug. Like, it's okay, Mom. And they'll give me a hug. It's not their job to save me. It's not their job to maintain my emotions, but they're having some level of compassion, witnessing me as an adult, their example, the template they're going to use to form the adults they will be, authentically struggling and taking a moment to stabilize myself. Oh, that's such an important one. I was told they were bad words as a child, and it changed the way I looked at family members thinking they were bad. Ooh. Ooh. That's powerful. That's so powerful. Ooh. Yes. So part of the way I've been addressing that particular thing, Mariah, is that my kids are understanding. Sometimes when you're speaking about something so passionately, you use sentence enhancers, and sometimes it's appropriate, sometimes it's not, and it's about learning when that's appropriate. Age appropriate. If it's appropriate to the environment that you're in. Like there's times where, like, why are you saying, like, what, talking to myself? You need to talk quiet. Because we hear you over here. Like a little tantrum is toxic. It's spreading over here. Like fuck. Like just needing to know that people are allowed to be who they are, but still please be full of how who being right now affecting the environment that you're in. Is it fair for us to be subjected to that just because you're in a mood? Like you can still be who you are, but is it so toxic that it's going to affect everyone in the environment? In which case, be who you are in your own room. That's your space. Be toxic there. And then come back out. We've leveled that out a little bit. Like just will know you're loved as you are, but we also have some standards that we want to live by, where you don't just get to take it out on us just because you're in a bad mood. That's not okay. It's not okay. Going beyond normal is upside down. So it's like being stuck in the roles that we're being forced to play. There's this like concept of Pinterest parenting, where it's like, unless you're doing all that Pinterest stuff, you're a bad parent. I saw this woman on TikTok yesterday, and she was having a full-on meltdown. My heart just really went out to her. She's sobbing, like sobbing. She has 2 toddlers. Her husband for work, he's gone 80% of the time, and she has no family where she's at. And she feels horrible because right as the children wake up, she's already irritated. They're doing things, and she doesn't want to punish them or be irritated with them because they're being toddlers. And it's like the house isn't clean. Let the house be messy. Who cares? No, don't make bento boxes. Leave all the laundry, leave everything, take your kids, go out to play. They don't need a Pinterest parent. This standard that we hold ourselves to, like they tug on your heartstrings about, in order for you to be a good parent, you have to do this, this, and this. Are you kidding me? That's not the measure of a good parent. That is not the measure of a good person. Living inside boxes just because people are telling you that this is the box you have to exist within to be a good person, for people to perceive you as a good person. No. 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 What even is a definition of a good person? And I promise you, some of the first things you'll think about is, oh, when you help others, when you're patient with them, when you give, even though you have nothing. Oh, so basically enabling. But unless you're an enabler of someone else's toxicity or lacking mindset, you're not a good person. What? By technicality, I'm not a good person because someone was in the audience earlier and low key basically condemning me for being the person that I am and being passionate and speaking passionately. I'm not a good person for that because I shouldn't have, like, oh my God, that was so disrespectful. All they did was wear Jasper. That's all they did. I'd rather be a good person, be authentic, and I spoke my truth because I'm working, shut myself up, create an internal ease within myself just to enable someone else's toxic behavior. That was toxic behavior. When you go to someone you don't know and you start giving them advice, that's toxic. What I'm in the process of learning, people who I cherish, who I have a really deep bond with, when they share something with me, I'm teaching myself, ask, how do you want me to properly support you? Do you just need me to hear? Do you want my opinion? Like, how am I expected to properly support you in this? I want to make sure I don't overstep boundaries, that I make sure you feel heard. If you don't need to hear something from me, like my perceptions, my opinions, let me know so that I could just, just listen. Because I sometimes will have a habit of jumping to this, like, I need to say, no, you don't. Ask, what do they need? Love them in such a way where they can come to you and tell you what they need from you, and you honor that. One of the things that my brother is huge on, and it's like powerful for me to witness, because he's been in such a vulnerable state for a year already. He's accustomed to being extremely independent, and for the year, it's difficult for him. Vulnerable space, to be able to speak his truth and be like, don't offer to help me if you're not going to help me in the way I ask, but instead you're going to help me in the way you tell me I need help. Huge. That's huge. Huge. Is that what we do? Do we offer to help someone and we tell them they need help? Or are we like pausing, giving them the time and the space to let us know, like, how you, what your need, what is your expectation? Let me see if it aligns with what I'm capable of doing right now. Am I capable of just listening? Am I capable of just holding this space as I listen to you, vent whatever frustrations, whatever struggles? And when you pause like this, oftentimes it will empower you. Empower you to what? Empower you to recognize if the person actually really truly needs your help. Or are they just using you? Are they just having you do it because it's more convenient? There's a lot of that goes on, where they have you do it because it's more convenient to have you do it, because you're efficient, because it's easier. Yeah, maybe easier for them, but is it easier for you? Because typically when we establish this type of connection with one person, we're probably establishing this type of parasitic, draining connection with pretty much everyone else. With pretty much everyone else. And at what point do you tell yourself, enough is enough? I have nothing left to give. At what point? Because when you live with the logic that you're a good person only if you overgive, I was a good egg, but my shell broke. And out came the chickie. It's about rebirth, breaking out of the confines of that shell serving as your protection. But here's the thing, shells are permeable. They're porous. You can exist within your shell thinking that you're safe from the world and people's opinions, the toxicity of the world, but shells does not keep that out. It's a false sense of security. You're still taking in people's toxicity. You're still taking it in. So give yourself a moment Begin to understand, begin to recognize, what process are you in? Are the people in your life allowing you to be in this process? Are they giving you the space, the love, the support that you are needing to grow yourself? Listening for truth. Let people tell you what their intention with you is. I've come across people who offer me different types of projects, right? They offer me different types of projects, and something in what they say tells me. Something in what they say tells me they're not interested in a created thing. They're interested in using me to bolster themselves. They're interested in what they can gain from their association with me in whatever shape or form. I work with people. I don't need to be seen as a commodity. I'm a living, breathing human being. And lately, it's been this thing of coming across a select few who are not interested in the ways they can benefit, ways they can grow their career by their association with me. I still don't get that. Like, what did you think I was going to do for you? Like, I don't know. I'm just some stay-at-home mom that live streams and talks mad shit. Fuck if I know what you think I'm going to do. But I've come across a couple people, a very select few, who there's an alignment there. There's this like almost scary alignment, because it's this thing of like, whoa, we have the same vision. We have the same purpose. We're simply sharing space as we do what each of us is supposed to do, and it happens to go in the same direction. Whoa. The fact that I'm kind of scared, I'm kind of nervous, that makes it something even more real, even more tangible. Let's see where this goes. Let's definitely see where this goes. And you know, this is a good place for me to stop. In a little bit, I'm going to be going live again in about an hour. I'm going to be going live again for the very first episode of podcast that I'm having with Chidi. I believe we're going to be going live on this channel, and it's going to be the very first podcast, and it's called Empty Cup Radar. And people might be like, empty cup radar? What does that even mean? Most of us run on empty through our entire lives. We run on empty for most of our lives, and we have no idea what we're filling our spiritual cups with. Topics come up and it shows up on our radar, and we're like, oh, truth, I need it. But we don't even know if it's truth. We don't know if it's truth. But we're so empty and we're so starved that we'll consume whatever we can get our hands on. Empty cup radar. Being consciously aware of what you're refilling your cup with. Being able to talk about the different things that come up on that spiritual radar, topics, struggles, whatever it is. Being able to openly talk and not have it be this like ClairTarot reading or anything like that, but just actually talking with another human being who's in the process, just like you guys, just like me, in the very same process of rediscovering truths that have been buried so deep, buried beneath societal obligations, familial obligations, distortions in perception, wounds, scar tissue, all of that stuff. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So we're going to have our very first podcast. We're going to do it here, I believe, every Tuesday. And then we're going to also launch a membership. We still need to figure out the logistics of that, but that's going to be on Thursdays, and that's going to be exclusive content. We're going to go much deeper down that Emmie bunny hole. Emmie bunny. Emmie bunny, hear me? Yes. Going real deep into that rabbit hole. That's going to be on Thursdays. It's time. It's time. I'm at a place where I'm kind of, sort of, a little bit losing my fear of speaking about myself and my journey and like the full gambit of my thoughts and the way my life experiences have affected me. That's actually my true purpose, guys. That's actually my true purpose. I've told you guys this before. I use all of these cards to kind of temporarily suspend my fear of speaking in front of other people. I'm very introverted. In real life, I'm an introvert. I don't know. Very introverted. And I'm learning to work through that because there's a reason I lived through all the things that I've lived through. What's that reason? So I can better understand how to better serve the people who are living through what I've already lived through. I once had someone look at my palms, and they said I have multiple lifetimes combined into one hand. Multiple. And that, you see that? The archangels are tasked with all of this protection. All of these squares, those are squares. See all of those boxes? It's said that those are all the prayers my ancestors prayed, and their protection still stands. So, time to really hear me. I'll see you guys in about an hour. Come back here, okay? See you guys in about an hour. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I hope I see you guys at the first taping of Empty Radar. Bye, everyone.